It should be good to go. I've
Cool.
already tested the audio levels, so.
Man.
All right. Well, guys, I am so excited today because I've got Michael, who is the founder of Organic Gentleman, a lifestyle and fashion company based out of Buffalo, New York. And he's a graduate of the University of Buffalo. He got his degree in communications and business, and that prepared him to step into the fashion industry, where he continues to work with people and helping them form lifestyle and trends that help to elevate the community around him. Now, Michael, how do you personally see your place in the business world? How do you see your company?
That's well. First, good. First, I appreciate the intro. You did research. Where do I see organic gentlemen within the community? I would say just pretty much as an outlet. I mean, from the community outreach standpoint, pretty much as an outlet. As you know, as an outlet, as in bringing awareness to what we need to do, just awareness as in leadership, bringing awareness to leadership, yeah, in simple terms,
Yeah.
from the community aspect. So I say that in the sense of we do enrichment programs for the youth, and so like that's just kind of like the premise of that is the transition to manhood, and just mentorship in simple, very simple terms.
Yeah. And what specifically started you wanting to? Because I mean, I feel like everyone has some sort of influence that causes them to go in the direction that they want to. What started your love of fashion?
It's very weird. Funny, like as a kid growing up, fashion for me, my mother was very fashion forward too as well. So for me, growing up the youngest of three, playing video games and stuff, I would spend so much time creating a character, whether it was like, like the wrestling raw games and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I would like literally, my brothers would be like, they would get on me all the time, be like, yo, why do you spend more time creating a character? So I guess essentially that was training. I've always like appreciated it too as well, appreciated the style. My older brother, he was pretty fashion forward, and we would literally like lay clothes out the day before our first day of school and stuff. So like that kind of like was a spark. And from there I would always help friends in middle school get like I would help them with their style, to the point of being in high school. I helped my best friend his senior year like pick out his whole wardrobe.
Yeah.
So um that's how I got started there. And then transitioning to adulthood, I realized the power of what dressing does have. Like, my
Yeah.
very first like real job was working in car sales. And
Yeah.
I'm 18 years old. I'm a skinny black kid, and like, I'm the only one that, well, yeah, I was pretty much I was the youngest there. And I realized, the level of respect I kind of got being so young by just changing my appearance a little bit too as well. So
Yeah.
um yeah, that's like the root of it. But
That's what I was, and you actually kind of led right into that too, because my follow-up question was going to be, at what point did you realize that the way you dressed had so much influence over people, Because it
mhm.
really does. Like you said, when you start out as a car salesman, that people are going to take notice of the way that you present yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, literally the clothes that we wear are, I always say, like, they are the second layer to our skin.
Hmm.
So it's not about always having to dress up and put a fucking suit on, or okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not always about putting a suit on or anything like that, but being able to dress comfortably as we could
Yeah.
always clean up, whether even if you're just wearing sweatpants or something like that. So
Absolutely. And when did Organic Gentleman like come into focus? When was that something that took the forefront in your life?
that was 2017. So I'll give you a quick backdrop. I was listening to podcasts at the time. I was listening to the Minority Trailblazer Report, and Organic Gentleman initially started off as a blog, but I mean, let's see. I'll make a long story short. Inspired by a podcast, and in this time, I was working for a company. I'm not going to say the name, but I felt I felt that I was being treated differently just because of my race. And it's like, as a black person, you understand when you're being treated differently just for that reason.
Yeah.
So I was just graduated in an entry level management position, to the point where I was the one that was put in the back, just unloading shipment time after time, like consecutive days in a row. And I'm just like, you know what, like, I know what it's like. I how can I say, like, I knew I wanted to make a change, and like, in the sense of like from image, and experiencing that to the point of there were just so many things clicking. It was
Yeah.
experiencing that, and then watching the news and seeing how, black people are portrayed always as criminals. I'm like, you know what could I do? Like, I want to make a change. I always wanted to be able to do something. And I was just like, thought I had needs to have like a bunch of money to make a change.
Yeah.
But so from all those things connecting, I'm like, all right, like mentorship is the key. What could be like influential, what could be done. A lot of people don't dress well for, two reasons. It's either A, they think that it costs too much money, or they just don't know how.
Yeah.
So like being able to educate people in a cool sense, like, there's nothing wrong with being clean. And it's not about, having the high end name brands to just really clean up your image and clean how you like be able to dress as who you are, and be clean.
Yeah.
So like, if that answers the question, I'm trying not to be long winded and stuff,
No, it
but
does.
yeah,
And
yeah.
but I mean, for what would you say to somebody who says, yeah, but it's too hard, or it costs too much money, or it's just I don't have the
Mhm.
time to do it. I'm too busy.
That's kind of like, well, that's you are a perfect candidate in that sense. Like, working with working with me, it's saving you time, saving you money, and it's really buying things on your budget. Number one, we all buy clothes,
Yeah.
everybody. So if you're going to be wearing clothes, why not, look like presentable? Why not be clean when you wear clothes?
Yeah.
So, you know yeah, that's like that I mean, being able to dress well on an affordable budget, it's not about buying the Gucci's and all that stuff. It's not
Yeah.
about being a walking billboard. So yeah, just being very clean, calm, simple, and being able to express who you are, you know.
Absolutely. And I know that in starting a company, a lot of times you get help from tons and tons of people. But is
Yeah.
there one person in particular that you can think of who was just a big part of getting Organic Gentleman going and making it what it is today?
Oh yeah, definitely. Outside of like friends and circles of influence, Sean Patterson, he was a big component into like us like really formalizing things and turning things into a business.
Yeah.
We met, that he's my business partner, co-founder. And we connected, and we talked about we have similar upbringings, growing up single parent household, and wanting to be able to do something to make a change in the community,
Yeah.
um, and being able to use our platforms to do that. So, we partnered up, and I'd say like, growing like Organic Gentleman is short for OG too as well. Like, growing up, we had OG. So we want to like the brand, the whole essence is like being that leader, being that role model, and setting that foundation. So he is till this day a big component as to why Organic Gentleman is the way what it
That's
is.
awesome. That's awesome. And what is one thing that you didn't expect whatsoever going into starting a business, and how did you overcome that obstacle?
Um, you know, the one I said one of the biggest things, I would say like becoming comfortable. Becoming comfortable. There was even a point in time where yeah, being comfortable to express and explain the business. Like,
Yeah.
like in essentials of like, whether it being like an elevator pitch, and being able to like convey the message in a very like concise, simple manner, and not oversell.
Yeah.
Just being like You know, I literally remember being in meetings and just like literally just like spitting off like something like you could tell like it was very scripted. And it was just like, you know, just very robotic. So like
Yeah.
at this point now, like gaining the confidence to speak to what Organic Gentleman is. And you know what, like, hey, I am a personal stylist. There is the educational aspect to it as well. And you know, like, shoot, like it's not for everybody, and that's fine. I'd rather be completely just raw as is, and I want to help whoever I can. But you know, the reality of it is, it's not for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
so like getting comfortable with that, and like, you know, being a business owner, there's so many different like elements, like, you know, how like you want to be perfect X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. But like, you know, it's a journey within itself. So I'm still, I don't have it all figured out. I'm still learning till this day. But I'm growing more comfortable in that space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's one thing that you've got down now, it's the passion, because I know when I first talked to you, I mean, you elevator pitched me pretty well too. Cause I think I remember asking you like, hey, what is it you do, man? You're like, yeah, like, and you in 2 quick sentences, hey, I help people dress better, you know, like, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. Like this dude's awesome. So, I mean, the years of going through trying to build that business and trying to get people to understand what it is you do, marketing that business, I mean, that's all a ton of work. But you also have done a lot of community work through Organic Gentleman and
Yeah.
personally. So what is something that you think is going to change in the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? What's something that you're really looking forward to changing socially, something that you're working towards right now?
One thing that I'm working towards right now is just like being able to have the uncomfortable conversations, and build strengthening awareness. So like, for instance, I'll say this, you know, where we are right now, like this is nothing. Our times where like racial tension is, you know, is very high. Um, and this is nothing new. We could look back and from history, you know, looking at literally like, you know, Tommy Smith in the Olympics in 1968. You know, they're raising the black fist during the um as they're getting awarded their medals, and the anthem is being played, and they're, you know, holding up the black fist. But you listen to what they're saying, they're like, yo, like, you know, we're holding these black fists. It represents unity. We're not wearing our sneakers because, you know, we're grounded, and we're showing, you know, the poverty and stuff like that. So like that's 1968. We're in 2020 and we're still having the same conversation. So I want to be able to push having uncomfortable conversations and understanding, you know what, there's going to be some, well, I mean, there going to be some white people that don't understand. There's going to be some people that don't understand. And it's not because they don't, they can't, it's because they don't want to. And it's just like, you know, we can't really spend that time having conversations trying to convince somebody. It's like, you know, at this point, it's like, do you want to learn? Do you want to like, we're humans at the end of the day. If you can't
Yeah,
see me as a human, then we can't really like that's the common ground right there.
yeah,
And we can't really move forward from that point. So I want to be able to, at this point right now, we're really in a very interesting place outside of, you know, politics and all that stuff. Understanding our education system is like, literally, this is exposing the holes in our education system. You know, thinking about homeschooling, forcing parents to homeschool right now to stay safe. And a kid might be in a house and not even have a proper room to do the schoolwork that he needs to do. Or
yeah,
like, how many people could truly focus on a Zoom call with
yeah.
like 30 people, you know? So um if like that, the fully loaded question, simple terms, like being able to push uncomfortable conversations, being able to strengthen awareness, and from that, I believe within that creates unity.
Absolutely. And we're gonna move on into a kind of a fun question, because I need to know. I'm a big music fan. What are your top 3 favorite musicians? And these can be contemporary artists, these can be old school artists, but like, who are three artists that you feel like you just keep coming back to, you can't get enough of?
Dead or alive.
Okay. And I mean, it can either way. I mean, it doesn't matter. It can be as far back as you want. It can be
I'll say, I'll say right
you're
now,
listening to
like,
like the 1920s music. I mean, that's good too, you know?
fair enough. I'll answer it two ways. One, most of the stuff that I do listen to is like I listen to a lot of like 90s, 80s, like R&B and stuff. That's like the like 80-90% of what I listen to. So, but I'll say top three artists that come to my mind. It's J. Cole, Larry June, and Nipsey Hussle. So those are the top three artists that come to my mind.
So, would you classify yourself as someone who does not like, for instance, mumble rap? I know it's kind of a term that gets overused a little bit, but a lot of people who follow J. Cole are kind of the anti-mumble rap gang. So, I mean, what is your perception of that style of music, even though that gets kind of, overused nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, from music tip, like mumble rap. I mean, I'm not really. I respect it. Like I remember I asked the DJ about it. I was like, "What is it that you like?" He's like, "It's really about the instrumentals and stuff like that." So I mean, I respect it, but it's not something that you will really catch me. It's not something that I like really like search to put on my iPhone and stuff like that. Excuse me. But yeah, I respect it. Hip hop is evolving, but I'm really like I stick in that. I'm like one of my friends call me a music snob, so I stick in that 90s era. That's where I mostly listen to, but I do listen to like modern stuff. So.
Yeah, but 90s is all good stuff. So, I mean, you're pretty safe staying in that decade. You can listen to a lot worse in the 2000s. So, and who's someone in your life that you look up to? And this could be a family member or someone maybe that you don't even know personally, but somebody who really inspired you.
Wow. I'll say, I'll say I had some family, my uncle, my first mentor. I'll say my family, I have family members. I'll say my friends too as well. My friends do inspire me. And let's say somebody that's just like somebody famous, inspirational. Malcolm X inspires me. Nipsey Hussle. I like people that are just like authentically themselves, and they're pushing barriers to make change. So those are people that come to the top of my head. Diddy's inspirational too as well. But yeah.
That's awesome. And how do you feel that quarantine has gone for you? What did you spend most of your time doing during quarantine?
Oh, quarantine has been real. I really, at the beginning of this year, I took a step back from social media because you could really like get like lost into it easily, just like scrolling down your timeline and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was at the beginning of the year, taking a break from that. But outside of that, I started within the quarantine. I started therapy too as well. Just like not saying that I don't have like I mean with my friends we have friends and family have very vulnerable conversations, but like just understanding like this is a very interesting crazy time, and just being able to be in a space where I can have like very honest conversations. So that's one thing I'll advocate for too as well. I think everybody should. It's like there's such a stigma behind therapy. It's like, oh, like you have an illness or you're sick, but shit, we're our mental health. Imagine if you don't eat right. What does your mental health look like?
Absolutely.
So yeah, just taking that's one thing I really want to advocate for. Taking the time and seeking that additional help, because right now I think if you ignore the fact of what's going on, it's only making things worse. Acknowledging it, being able to be in the space and acknowledging it.
I think that is going to be a huge change in healthcare. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But at some point, I think people are going to realize that your mind is just as important as any other part of your body. So why aren't you taking care of it? you know?
Talk about it. Yeah, it's real. It's real. So, I think we need those outlets. We need somebody to communicate how you feel and stuff like that. Because I mean, this quarantine, it's been crazy. And I mean, the nice thing is like I've been really spending a lot of time outdoors. I've always appreciated the outdoors, but
Yeah.
I've been able to really take advantage and go on. Like recently, just did a cross country road trip, which was amazing. So like, yeah, just that those are two takeaways, obviously picking up little skills and it's picking up skills in the meantime too as well.
Yeah.
So
No, it
yeah.
sounds like you've done a lot during quarantine. And that's, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people, myself included, probably didn't do as much as we should have because,
Yeah,
you just feel
it's
like you're
all right.
home. But, um, and what's the last movie that you saw? Because I know everybody for the longest time was talking about what's on Netflix, what's new in the queue, but uh, now that quarantine is over, what is the last thing that you saw? What was good?
The last movie, I watched the movie. Well, it was the other day. I watched two movies back to back. I watched Menace to Society and Baby Boy.
Baby, I don't think I've seen either of those.
Oh, they're
Would you
they're
recommend
classic.
them?
Oh yeah. They're classics. Classics indeed. Classics indeed.
In that
So
case, I'm gonna have to watch.
Baby Boy came out like I think like the early 2000s. That was like with Snoop Dogg and Tyrese. And then Menace to Society came out sometime in the 90s. It's just like, yeah, they're pretty deep movies.
I'll have
So
to check them
but
out then. And let's see here. Sweatsheets.
mhm.
And what do you think? Because I know, like you were just talking about quarantine and how difficult this has been. Because obviously we had all sorts of protests going on all over the country.
Mhm.
This isn't necessarily a very politically stable time.
Mhm.
So, what is one thing that you think can really bring everybody together? What's an issue, or um, really any sort of common ground that you think can kind of bring people together around these conversations?
I think it just being you number one, I think being able to agree to disagree, that's one thing. And then being able to have the conversation, empathy. Like for instance, like I won't know what it's like to be in your shoes, but there's definitely things that we could relate to and reach a common ground. The
Yeah,
same thing, like I don't have to be in your to experience what you feel to like understand. I mean, I can't fully understand, but I can hear you out
yeah,
and I could change my mind based off the things that you say. And I think we need to, be able to suppress the ego and be able to have conversations and like, understand oh, sorry, my
no,
bad
you're
about
good,
that.
man.
No, there's so much pain. And the more that we ignore and just try to just act like things are normal and things are not there and stuff like that, we need to have like real conversations and like with actionable steps. Like, so I feel like once we if we could get to a place and being able to cease and like have a conversation, understand like we're humans before race,
Yeah,
um, then we could really come together. Like things from a political standpoint, I mean things are very nasty, things are very toxic, and it's just like I think like the climate it has woken a lot of people up for sure.
yeah,
But and in the same breath, a lot of people are hurting.
yeah.
Like so.
I mean, it's definitely hard when you say that, to like put aside our egos and to
Yeah,
listen to people, because
yeah,
just like how you said that, the way that we dress kind of portrays us as people. In the same
yeah,
way, people, I mean, we draw conclusions right away just based off of somebody's skin color, the way they dress,
yeah,
the way they act, a phrase that they say. I mean, it's we come to conclusions about people just in a snap, and it's crazy.
yeah,
But hopefully, it's conversations like this that people can have more often,
yeah, yeah,
because I mean, really listening to somebody else and trying to understand their place in life, like you said, is going to be huge in pushing us forward.
Yeah.
And what do you wish people outside the Black community, what's one thing in particular that you think people, or you wish that people understood outside the Black community about the Black?
Um, what is my wish?
Yeah.
Um, um, my wish would be, if I were to, yeah, my wish would be just like, understanding that we're human, being able to understand that we're humans. You
Yeah.
understand that, like, we all believe stereotypes are real. I mean, shoot, like it's human nature to have a stereotype about somebody, another race or whatnot. But yeah, just being able to reach that common ground of respect, and like being able to see somebody, not judge them based off of their actions or whatever their situation and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
being able to reach that common ground of humanity, like working in the education system, you see, a kid might act up. It's easy to label a kid as a troublemaker and stuff like that, but that's not necessarily that's not like, it's a child. So, naming him that or treating him in such a way that he is that is only going to reinforce that behavior. Like taking a step back and embracing whatever they are, whatever their strength is. Just like speaking from the education aspect.
Yeah.
And tapping into that, but that's a very optimistic perspective. Very
Yeah.
optimistic.
Yeah, obviously that's wishful thinking to a certain degree.
Mhm.
But I also think it helps, to point us in the right direction, point us to where we want to go. But
So, or
I mean,
have,
oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say, or just like have everybody hop in a jujitsu class and start rolling.
Yeah,
You want to settle some differences. All right, if you're like, all right, let's get it in.
I think jiu-jitsu we haven't talked about jiu-jitsu, but for anybody who might not know, Michael does also train jiu-jitsu. Are you still a blue belt now? Are you purple belt?
Still a blue belt. Still a blue belt.
Okay,
I
still a
like
blue belt.
it's. I say this with my sensei back in New York, Budokan.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I love the art. I love jujitsu. I love mixed martial arts. I love it. And for me, like I would be content being a blue belt, for the rest of my life, unless I get promoted from him.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel, or from the school itself. Like clearly we've met at another gym, and I
Yeah.
just feel like I don't like. I love the art. I love training. Clearly can't train right now, really.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
And
Yeah.
what's I know that you may not get to train as much as you want to,
Mhm.
and obviously you can't train at your home school, but what's one thing that you think jiu-jitsu has given you personally, and maybe what's one thing that you think jiu-jitsu has helped with as far as your business?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say jujitsu helped me with awareness. Like, mixed martial arts, like you gain a level of awareness. Like you understand that you have this skill that, the average individual, you could do some things to somebody. So it's like, you don't walk around like I've never been a fan of bullies. I've always you know, I've always hated bullies. But like understanding like you could do some things, you could defend yourself, you could defend a loved
Yeah.
one. So just like it just gives it reinforces a very calm, relaxed demeanor. And it's like boom. As far as business, the correlation to jujitsu and business is just take your time. Take your time and it will come. Just like you go to the gym and you train, you keep training, you'll just get better over time. And whether even if you're training with somebody that's better than you, you're still elevating. So like making that correlation to business, being in situations, not feeling as confident, being in rooms where literally having to, do a pitch in front of like 30 people. I've grown to feel comfortable doing that now,
Yeah.
on the spot, like, oh, like what? Oh, so just being more comfortable, being more comfortable in your skin. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know looking forward into the future, you've probably got all sorts of awesome things planned out for your company, for yourself personally. But
Mhm.
what can people look to see from you in the future? What are you doing?
From the business aspect with Organic Gentleman, going to be going to be going to be offering, well, already do virtual services, virtual styling, but that's going to kick back up and just really like put that out there. um I'll say that. And then there's going to be more content, so I mean, I'll say it while we're here right now.
Yeah.
Recently, just like with the whole, been documenting all these vlogs, these hiking trips. So like the cross country road trip,
Yeah.
it was from Buffalo. We literally drove all the way to LA and we hit 3 national parks. So we documented that whole experience. So vlogs. So those are two main things that are going to be coming about fairly
Awesome.
soon. So.
Yeah. And where can people support you? Where can people find you?
Mhm.
What forms of social media are you most active on?
Yeah, I'll say Instagram is probably the Instagram would be the easiest way to get in contact. So like my personal is OG Michael James, and then there's the Organic Gentleman page too as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll put it
so
down in the link of the video too. I'm gonna put your all your social media and everything down in there so people can find you really easy.
cool, cool, cool. So yeah, those are the next things, and then just just staying tuned. I don't want to give away everything, but yeah, those are the next two things that are coming up right now for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. And before we take off, is there any last words that you'd like to say? Anything you'd like to tell the people?
Um, um So like how do you like what's your take on everything that's going on right now? Like how do you feel? I spoke on how I felt as in terms of like what needs to be done. Like it's like, you can't really, people that are stuck in their ways, we can't
Yeah.
really focus time on trying to convince them like shit. You say the sky is blue, they're gonna be like, no, it's red.
Yeah.
Every single day. It's like, you know what? All right, it's been blue for all right, whatever. I'm not gonna waste my time. But like,
Yeah.
you know, like I feel like until we could really address the issues of, I feel like we until we address the issues of race, then we can't really move. Like it's good. We're gonna keep coming
Yeah.
to keep coming to blocks until we have those uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah. I mean, so my take on it personally is so many people, because currently I am in school, I am taking classes, and a lot of the things that I hear are of people saying, "Oh, it's just so sad we can't do anything." It's
Mhm.
like, what are you talking about? Like
Mhm.
everybody has the power to do something. It's just a whether or not you choose to do it.
Mhm.
So I feel like my personal strength is in having conversations with other people. I like talking to other people. That's why I wanted to
Mhm.
start this channel, because hopefully
Mhm.
it'll open up those conversations and expose more people to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because I feel like a lot of people, they just see they just see the news. They just see
yeah,
those people. And I want people to see that, there are real people out there in America who are having real conversations and trying
yeah.
to actually work on these things. Um, so yeah, that's really what I'm hoping for out of all this. So
Well, I was like, I commend you on starting the podcast. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I know you're gonna have some solid questions. Already, just like it, just I mean, outside of this, having conversations with you prior to leaving, very it was inspirational to make that leap. So I was like, you know what, shoot, I know this is gonna be a solid thing. So I commend you on even you using your platform to bring awareness.
I appreciate it. And everyone, Michael James, you can catch him on Instagram. Like you said, reach out to him. He is doing online services as of right now.
Hmm.
And he's my first guest. So thank you so much, Michael, for being on. I really appreciate it.
No
Uh,
problem.
I'm going to let you run off to your vacation.
Appreciate you, brother. All right.